am filming the reflection video for the observing video for Lamar University Educational Leadership Program. Um, One thing that I had to do is describe evidence of what you observed during the field experience activity. I observed the teacher doing multiple things within one period. A lot of it was, finishing up activities. And then the first thing she did was she presented a new um, activity, future project to the students, told them their partners, told them an overview of the project, what to be expected. I watched her on a Friday, so the next week is when they were going to start the project. So that was the first thing that happened. Next thing she went over was they had to finish up the author's chair, which they had written an expository essay and over a topic, and she had each of the students go up to the front and share a particular piece of their essay, and then the students could one, they had to start with a positive and then make a suggestion or comment positively or comment on possible suggestions for the students. I thought this was a great activity. Got all types of learners involved and all types of people. Even if you're not used to getting in front of people, you know exactly, you have options on what you're reading. So I really like that activity. She then went on and the students finished up a short answer response that they had previously worked on in class. They had to finish it up. If they hadn't turned it in already, they had to finish it up and then turn it in. She gave a allotted amount of time for that. She then moved on to finishing up a revising and editing partner activity for their essays. So if the partners had not finished up that activity, then they went ahead and finished in an allotted amount of time. And then to depending on the amount of time, because I did watch 2 different periods, depending on the amount of time, that's where they finished. She would kind of sum up the class period, and that was the end of that day's activities. Instructional strategies that she used in her class, group work, obviously. She would assign, like with differentiated instruction, she would assign the partners. She told me beforehand that she liked to pair up strong and weak partners together. So if there was a student with either a learning disability or section 504, one of the two, that she would try to pair them up with a stronger student in order for them, kind of pull them up from there, and hopefully that stronger student would be a, somewhat of a leader. She also, it was student-centered instruction. I mean, the students were doing all of it. The students were, doing the author's chair. She would prompt them a little bit, but not much, and they would do most of the activity. With the short answer response, she talked about guidelines before the class that I observed, and strategies in order to answer those. And then the students were on their own writing that assignment. The revising and editing was completely student-centered. They had a guideline to go by, but they were visiting with each other. They were filling out the papers, and they were learning from each other with what they needed to do to improve their papers. So that was really exciting to watch. She did give different options within the group assignments. I mean, obviously with the author's chair, she gave different options. They could either read their thesis statement, they could read one of their examples, they could read their intro, they could do all these different options so that a student who's not strong at one could address another. So that, I thought that was really, really perfect of her. She let the students interject. And a lot of times students learn, I feel like, and I know within my years of education and here at the campus which I work, feel like when students are talking to students, they learn a lot better. When it's coming in their lingo, it's coming in from their point of view, instead of always the teacher's point of view all the time, that a lot more learning occurs. So, and retention occurs. They remember it better because it was explained in a way that they understood. The student engagement, how she was going to assess student engagement, she had, the students interjecting ideas. So if they weren't participating, then she had them go ahead and she called on a student and they had to participate. If she also did student questioning, so if you weren't paying attention, then you probably didn't know the answer to the question. She also did redirection if needed within that too. So I thought all of those were great ideas within her strategies.